Zaria in northern Nigeria is the headquarters of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, which is the major Shia movement in Nigeria. Shiism has experienced tremendous growth as membership continues to increase. What are some of the reasons for this phenomenal growth? Hello there and welcome to In Focus. I am Nanjum Abdullahi. Join us as we examine the growth of Shiism in Nigeria. Shiism in Nigeria started in the late 1970s. Before then, it was almost not very known in Nigeria. But gradually, the number of members has continued to grow from a few hundreds of thousands into millions. Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Gwadabe is a historian at the Ahmadu Bello University and has conducted an in-depth study of the Islamic movement of Nigeria.
This movement, to my understanding, started right from about 1979. That was after the Iranian Revolution, because Nigerian society witnessed a lot of influence from that movement in Iran. Because I remember that time there were a lot of propaganda pamphlets and a lot of documents explaining the revolution, explaining the justification for establishing an Islamic State, which Iran succeeded at that period of time. So it came at a time also when Nigeria was really, facing serious economic challenges. If you remember, it was a little after that time, the civilian regime. And so that also provided another push because, the period witnessed a time when so many people started agitating for change, all forms of change.
Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki is a primary figure and the driving force in the introduction and growth of Shiism in Nigeria. He is highly revered by the members, but speaks with a mix of humility and confidence.
There is natural growth and there is also some kind of development, which is more than the natural growth, in the sense that people are coming to understand what we are saying and they are siding with us. And this is, they are doing it in large number, in multitude, not in, in one by one. It's a matter of multitude. So we ourselves, we see, we are also surprised by what we see. You can see how, for example, gatherings like Arba'in, for example, it started with a handful of people some 10 years ago. Now it's growing into multitude. This word, speaking truth. Truth will always prevail. People always identify themselves with the truth. And that's why those who do not like, they will always try to insist that the truth shouldn't reach the people.
Generally, experts agree that the rise and continuous growth in the population of Shia in Nigeria should be seen from the perspective of disenchantment of many Nigerians with the political and to some extent the religious establishment in Nigeria.
They established their own centers in villages and they have a very good system of bringing people together, making contribution, creating jobs for people. This is one of the strongest strategies they employ, besides emphasizing on how satanic the system of administration of the country is. Also, they also come with means of getting people together, of solving some of their basic challenges. I learned that the group, they have a kind of program in which people do contribute on weekly or monthly, and they use that contribution for the betterment of the society.
The Islamic movement of Nigeria participates in all global Shia commemorations. The Ashura, which is the mourning and remembrance of the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and members of his household in the Battle of Karbala, is marked with activities by members in many cities in Nigeria. In addition to many other global Shia events, the Islamic movement of Nigeria has never shied away from expressing its position on issues affecting Islam and/or Muslims anywhere in the world. The Islamic movement of Nigeria was the only Islamic group that organized an elaborate rally to condemn the offensive film produced in the United States of America that portrayed the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, in bad light.
Muslims in Nigeria are an integral part of the Muslims of other parts of the world. So we in this part of the world are not different from the rest. And it also shows that we do things according to wisdom and knowledge. That's here there was nothing like any piece of violence, because we have not carried crowd along with us. We made sure that people who knew what they have come for are the ones who came to this. And that's why we deliberately avoided Friday.
A typical week for the Islamic movement of Nigeria has many religious activities. Dawra is a class taken by Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki for some selected elders of the group. It comes up from time to time, usually after 2 months. The elders, in turn, will go back to their communities and pass on the spiritual lessons. Dr. Abdullah Hidalladi is one of the elders.
This evening we had a lesson from this book of al-Haqaiq, which deals with how somebody should be able to purify himself, inner self, and makes his self conformity with the teachings of Islam. That is to say, inner building, how to build yourself. Now, the topic we had this evening was on the issue of kibr. The lessons are trying to remind us that as far as a human being, whatever you have is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, you have nothing to be proud of. Talk less or feel that you are above somebody. Our forefather Adam was created from dust. So who are you to feel somebody? If you are thinking you are rich, remember, you didn't make any effort to enrich yourself. It was Allah that provided you with wealth.
Na'jul Balaga, or the Peak of Eloquence, is a collection of sermons and sayings of Imam Ali. This session comes up at the Husseiniya, the Islamic center of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, in its headquarters in Zaria. Dr. Muhammad Turi comes from Kano.
The explanations and the postulations of Imam Ali on various spheres of life, on the issue of monotheism, on the issue of worship, on the issue of relationships between individuals. You will see that it's true. All scholars know that Imam Ali is somebody who is highly endowed and has spoken a lot in eloquence. You know, he has eloquently spoken a lot on all aspects of life. So the purpose, the aim of these Monday lessons is to bring out these lessons so that we'll be able to imbibe from his lessons and learn from him, so that we can better our lives and the lives of the society in general. The essence of life, the very reason why we are existing, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah says clearly in the Quran that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created man and jinn except that they should worship me. So you see that the basis of success, the beginning of success, the beginning of fulfilling one's role on earth is even to know his creator.
The Majlis for Brothers holds on days without recitations. It is a forum for discussing current affairs with significant impact on the Muslim Ummah. Today's session comes after the usual Monday fasting.
The aim is just to have the iftar together And during it, sometimes an informal discussions on it comes out, like you had us discussing what happened to some of our editors, our newspaper. So it cropped up, we were discussing about things like that. Sometimes also some lessons may be learned. It's just informal discussion, not formal. Like, you know, we say, it's not always that you just give listen and listen and listen every day, preaching. Sometimes you also feel free to discuss issues.
Once a week, every Tuesday, there is usually a majlis for the sisters of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. They meet here at the Husseiniyah, the venue for most religious activities of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. The majlis is a discussion session where current affairs issues and indeed other issues affecting the sisters are discussed freely. Sisters usually come from as far as Kano, Kaduna, to attend the session.
This weekend,
Malama Zina Ibrahim Zakzaki is the wife of the leader of the Islamic movement of Nigeria.
this is an Islamic movement. It is based on ideology, you know. So through discussions now, we are able to shape our minds and our ideology. We are able to know what is the direction. For instance, if you were listening to some of what the sisters were saying, you know, they were asking about, in fact, the sister asked about what is happening right now in Egypt, you know, this issue of constitution or no constitution, this or something like this. You know, it gives, sometimes when one listens to news or when an event is happening in the world, we need to exchange ideas, you know, so that we can be able to have. That is why you find that because of this kind of discussions and sometimes even we have other programs like Dawra. You know, we have Dawra for the sisters where we read fiqh books, history, fiqh, and all this sort of thing. We have also for children.
The participation of women and their contribution to the advancement of the Islamic movement of Nigeria is very important. They are usually present in all key events of the movement.
Right from the beginning, the Prophet ﷺ, he made women and men to be equal. He said they are equal in the face of Allah. The only one who is more exalted is the one who is fearful of Allah. So this is it. There is nothing difference between you know, the outlook, the way Shia Islam look at women or the way Islam look at women. It is all the way the Prophet ﷺ, right from the beginning, this is the kind of training he gave to his followers, that men and women are equal. There is nothing different, you know. So this is the kind of training that our Sheikh also gave us. Right from the beginning of this movement, he showed us that, in fact, there is no way that society can change except with when men and women work together, because women are half of the society. So there is no way you can change a society without having the other half participating fully. And in fact, he even encourages us to put more effort even than the men, because he always gives us example of the struggle of the Imam Khomeini in Iran. How Imam, if you listen to the speeches of Imam, if you read his speeches, you see the kind of encouragement he gave to women. To the extent that in the Islamic Revolution in Iran, it was the women, the courage, the courage of the women that brought the men out.
There is no doubt that year after year, the membership of the Islamic movement of Nigeria continues to grow. More and more people are joining the movement. Al-Mizan is the Hausa language newspaper published by the Islamic movement of Nigeria for the propagation of its religious philosophy and current issues affecting its members and the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria.
It started actually as, not as a newspaper as such. It started as some tracts of articles. Even though at the past we attempted to make a magazine, not a news magazine, just articles on Islam called Al-Mizan, but it never seen the light of the day. So tracts started with, you know, carrying some issues. Then later on it was put in the form of a newspaper. And then we made it as a matter of policy that we should remain a newspaper for all our readers, even irrespective of religion. We just report what is newsworthy, anything newsworthy. You can see that it has columns even on sports, politics, everything. It's anything newsworthy. At the same time, we also put across the message, which is essentially the main reason why the newspaper come out to send out our own message to the public, all right, and also to also address the views of the readers.
Despite censorship and attempts to silence the paper, it has continued to appear on newsstands. There was a recent crackdown by security operatives resulting in the arrest of 2 Al-Mizan journalists. Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki says the authorities must understand that the movement does not belong to an individual.
What they think is that nobody should say anything when they do anything. And sometimes a lot of people keep quiet on so many issues, but they find that there are some quarters which do not keep quiet. Even if others will, this quarters has never kept quiet, and they can never kept us silent. Never, never. We will never be silent. There is no way they can think that they can do anything and simply nobody will say anything. And never. And this is they make a grievous mistake because they think that it is some individuals they will hunt. They don't understand that it is a sort of belief which has exponents which run into their generations. If you arrest someone, it doesn't matter you arrest the freedom, it is there. There are other people who will continue doing it. At least they have known that at one time they did everything they could for 2 consecutive years. They have not silenced that newspaper. It has not been off circulation even 1 week with all this ruthless crackdown during Abacha regime. Of course, there are rules. We do not accept abuses. You cannot try it and abuse somebody or intimidate someone and expect to be written. But even if you criticize us, you see we will write it for you, and we have been writing. People write to criticize us, and still we air it as a news.
The Islamic movement of Nigeria says the movement believes in living in peace with all its neighbors. It has always preached peaceful coexistence as a cardinal principle. Sheikh Zakzaki says his movement does not have any problem with the authorities.
We on our own side, we have no rift with anybody. But we know some people react differently to things they are opposed to. Or we do not say that everyone should agree with us. We have our own ideas. Not everybody agree with our own ideas, and we acknowledge that. And we think that what we should do is to have a sort of forum where we exchange views, all right? Rather than say that you should come and join me or I should come and join you. You have yours, I have mine. But at least there are areas where we agree upon. Let us meet there. And that's why we provided for a platform we call Unity Week. For example, every year we gather people who come and give different lectures on different understandings. There are, apart from Salafi, there are also the Sufi and Salafi.
Nigerian society generally is faced by a crisis, economic crisis. And the tendency is always that whenever you have crises like that, you have a number of reserved army, people ready to be recruited for whatever. You understand? So the strategy by this movement is always to go as far as reaching out to understand the problems of people and to attempt to solve this problem by bringing people together as a community. If you look at it now, when Ibrahim Zakzaki moved to his own house in Gelesu, what he did was to provide protection around that area. They created gates around the whole area. and they have people who are guarding this gate. Whenever there's any problem anywhere around this area, you will never see problem in that place. So in a way, and both Christians and Muslims enjoyed that protection. So it is in a way making people to understand, yes, we are people that are for you. Do you get the point? And that is really help making people to have certain feelings toward the movement.
About 34 years after Shiism started in Nigeria, experts posited that it has drawn membership from many segments of human endeavor. The future, according to Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki, looks very bright.
We have a status quo, and we are not happy with the status quo. We have challenged it. We say it is bad. It needs to be done away with, and something else should replace it. So replace it. Call it anything you like. If you said, for example, everyone knows that there's corruption. Whenever we use the word corruption, people think of it in terms of financial corruption, but there is corruption in everything. Even morally, a lot of people are corrupt. The change of character. A lot of people think of revolution as a change of government. Change of government is not synonymous with revolution. Revolution means change of mind, change of attitude. People have one set of ideas and they behave in one way, and they change those set of ideas and behave in a different way. In other words, you change the mind of the man, not that you take a gun and force him to do one thing. That's no revolution. Revolution is not by force. People voluntarily change.
Sheikh Zakzaki says there are certain principles that are for everyone and not for Muslims alone.
As you can see, there is the training is always put emphasis on moral. On moral. Even if you are not a Muslim, we do not necessarily say you have to be a Muslim if you are not one. All right, you can profess any religion of your choice, but there is what is called conscience, is for everybody. There is what is called moral, is for everyone. There is also what is called justice, is for everyone. It is not confined to a particular religion, but we choose. One might say, okay, why are you not preaching this thing, not only on platform of religion? Come and preach it on universal platform. Someone we delivered one lecture I think it was Ida Polytechnic some years back, and someone, a Christian, was saying that he said this he agreed with the lecture, but he said, why do we insist that we do it on the platform of Islam? We said the reason why we do it is because we draw our moral teaching from there.
So many youths, especially youths, moving towards that same. So they have good strategy of getting to people. And there are people also who believe that they can subdue their own beliefs. They can subdue it and be with you, and be getting you closer and closer and be telling you what they're after. But essentially, their program of contributing money and executing some project, which is their own, I think is doing a lot in getting people into the movement. It's more of trying to get people to know that, yeah, we can build a community, and this is an Islamic community. And so easily people get into it, and then you see it going.